15 minutes of freedom here in the UK. So let me tell you the plan. The plan is in Oxford, and this has just been passed by the council, to divide the city here into, a bit of a squiggly city, into 6 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you will only have the freedom to operate in the part that you live. So if this is you, the idea is that everybody will live within 15 minutes of the things they need. 15 minutes of a school, 15 minutes of a doctor's, 15 minutes of a supermarket. And if you want to travel to the other zones in your city, or maybe soon your town, you will have to go out an approved route. You will have to journey around the outside of the city in order to re-enter another section of the city. This plan is supposed to be saving the planet. And the idea is that you won't simply be able to cross over into other sections of your city anymore. So if your mother, for example, lived over here, you wouldn't be able to just go across and see her. This would all be done via e-gates, electronic gates, and number plate recognition. You in your area will only be allowed within that 15-minute zone that you've been allocated. The number plate recognition will know if you leave your zone. And you can apply for permission, a permit to leave your zone and travel to another zone. But you'll only be allowed to do this about 100 times a year. This is real. I just have to stop and say that. This has actually been passed by Oxford Council. This is happening in the next 2 years, 2024 it begins. And if you use up all your 100 passes that someone designates whether you're allowed to have to go into the different zones, you'll be fined. Your number plate will be recognised. It will observe that you've gone somewhere you're not allowed in your own city, and it will fine you £100 or £80 or whatever the fine number is.
Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. It's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Wednesday, July 3rd. I should be able to remember this date. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. It's the year 2024. And thank you for all the birthday wishes. Yes, it is my birthday. Appreciate it. And I get to celebrate it with you all. I wanted to be here today. I wanted to share with you. I wanted to spend this beautiful time with you. Thank you for being with us on Rumble, on X, on YouTube, in the live chat. Oh, so many beautiful wishes. Thank you all. I'm going to go through all the comments. And I chose today's subject as a birthday gift to myself. I asked myself, what is the most important thing that we need to talk about right now? And there is a plethora, but this is one of the key things. And if we can do anything to help spread awareness around this, because people are not knowing what's going on, then we're going to do it. So, this was a great introductory clip, but we are being played right now, like always, like crazy. And I'll give you the two sides of what is happening. There is currently the media apparatus, the alternative media apparatus, which always jumps on board with the mainstream media. I don't know why they so often do it, but here's what's happening. Everybody's being played. Trump and Biden, Biden, now all of a sudden everybody is realizing that, the characters who are playing Joe Biden are senile, have dementia and can't do really. This is news to whom? The media. Everybody's in panic. Come on, it's all a dog and pony show. It's a charade. It's bullshit. It's distraction. So it's like there's a memo out there. We found a memo. It's like there's a memo out there. Okay, let me show you the memo real quick. Here's the memo, my friends. Attention. Important memo for all World Economic Forum stakeholders. Dear fellow Great Reset New World Order cult members, please make sure to only talk about issues that highly emotionalize the public and keep them in a state of paralysis. Throw in some brainless entertainment, ads for drugs they don't need, and solutions for problems that don't exist. Under no circumstances are you to talk about the following subjects. Okay, we're going to go into the following subjects in a second. This is what they're doing everywhere in the world. I was just on the phone. Today's, I get a lot of calls today, which, beautiful. I was just on the phone with Christine's parents, who are back in Europe, and they're telling us about the charades that are being played in their politics right now. EU politics, Austrian politics, German politics, Italian politics, French politics. It's all the same show. There's something that's happening on the surface. What we're seeing is we're going from the left to the right again. So the right's going to take the reins now, generally speaking, in a lot of countries, and it's going to further their agenda. What is the agenda? Because that's what they never talk about. They'll talk about highly emotionalizing issues, the same old issues. Of course, they are emotionalizing people's living standards, inflation, abortion, and civil rights. And meanwhile, let me tell you, let me show you where the trillions of dollars are going into every single day now. Big finance, big tech, big pharma, big medicine, big ag, big food, big sugar. Everybody's going in the same direction. Behind the scenes, there is a completely different plan unfolding. It has nothing to do with left and right. Left and right won't matter anymore. It only mattered to keep people ping-ponging back and forth. This is the generation where you have the most flip-floppers. The generations where most people switched over from the Democrats to the Republicans, from the left to the right. That's happening a lot lately. And so the right's going to take the reins now. And that is not to say that there aren't some good people in the movement. That's not to say that there aren't good ideas there. That's not to say any of that. But they are not either realizing or talking about what is really important. Okay, so here are the key issues that they don't want us to think about, talk about, until it's irreversible. Until it's irreversible. Here we go. Digitization and AI integration, the digitization of everything, the Internet of everything, and the full integration of AI into all aspects of human existence. Full disclosure, we just recorded a new Naked Truth show with Frank Jacob yesterday. It's going to come out this weekend, and we're really diving deep into this, how far it's gone. But I know in some cases I'm repeating myself. I don't care. I'm going to scream this from the rooftops, because these are things that once they're fully implemented, there is no way or hardly a way back, or there's always a way back, but there's almost no way back. So the digitization of everything, that means the Internet of everything. What does that even mean? We're not just talking about devices, friends. We're not just talking about computers, smart appliances, cars. We are talking about plants, animals, and humans as well. The full integration of biology into the Internet of everything. Is it possible today to spray smart dust from a plane, let's say, and have it enter the biosphere through the skin, through the plant, through the leaves, through ingestion? Is that possible? Yes. What kind of technology can be infused in those ways? Self-assembling, self-replicating nanotechnology. Tiny robots. Nano means a billionth of a meter. A billionth of a meter. That's unimaginable. The hacking of the biosphere. This is the Internet of everything. So this is what is happening behind the scenes and has been happening while they're still talking about all the other shit that does not matter compared to this, okay? So the full integration of AI into all aspects of human existence. Forgive my typos. CBDC, central bank digital currencies, and the end of cash. Another thing they're not talking about in any significant way during these campaigns. Are you hearing them? Are you hearing them talk about this? I've heard Trump mention it once. No specifics, no nothing. Meanwhile, everybody's pushing for crypto, everybody's pushing for NTFs, everybody's pushing for digital currencies and the end of cash, which is the end of the remaining freedom that allows you to do whatever the hell you want to do with your money. Okay, so this is literally BRICS, the big nations, the big block, right? And what people don't see is they're praising BRICS, they're praising Russia, they're praising. I'm sorry, but let's just look at this. BRICS is a huge conglomerate of some of the biggest nations. The EU is a huge conglomerate of some of the biggest nations. The North American Treaty connects Canada, Mexico, and the United States into a conglomerate. Does that sound at all like the Hunger Games regions and zones where national sovereignty becomes less and less and less important, where a nation state becomes less and less important? This is how they're connecting them through currency, because what is connected through money cannot be dissolved anymore. It's like the eternal marriage. Okay, that's what it is. Money marries nations in a way, and currency that's almost impossible to walk away from. So that's what they're doing. A currency basket for the BRICS, a currency basket for the EU, a currency basket for the other remaining Asian, and soon they will all come into one huge conglomerate of a one world currency. That is the goal. And that's what they're working on. When I say that's the goal, it's not just people talking about it. That's where all the money, where the infrastructure goes, where what Silicon Valley is working on in terms of technology in the background. That's where all this goes. Social credit. They know they need a system like we talked about recently. Thank you, Heidi. Really appreciate your contribution. They talked about it. We talked about it recently. A social credit system is where, okay, this ties into, remember when we had that show about X, about former Twitter, the everything app? Now, X is not going to be the only everything app. So what you will see soon appear, and they will come out of the metas like Facebook, Instagram. They will come out of those companies, Snapchat, so the big ones, TikTok. They will all begin turning into everything app. And of course, Facebook in many ways, you have all your social activities there. You have your events lined up there. You can listen to music there. You can watch your entertainment there. You can go to the marketplace and sell and buy there. There's so many things already to do. So they're turning into spaces where people live on. Facebook, of course, has a social credit system, right? The algorithm reacts to likes and dislikes, but there is underlying already a point system. I just recently noticed this, that now Facebook gives points to fans of a page. Okay, so this person is very active on your page. They have 100 points. The next person only has 78. They're not as active on your page. They're beginning to do the classification system. So the idea is to have everything, finance, business, everything in one space, one app, and then have a score. And when you post on Facebook, and when you post something that is maybe anti-government or maybe anti-democracy or whatever, your score goes down. So you will be limited from using Marketplace. You will be limited from posting. You will be, and your employer, if you still have a job and are not on universal basic income, will know this. Your digital money will be reprogrammed. You can't spend that money on this. You can only spend it on that. You can't go and travel outside of your designated zone. I'm sorry. This is all reality as we see it right now playing out in front of us. So social credit, it's like the credit system for your financial life, for your debt. It's not really financial life. It's how you manage debt, right? Credit score tells people how you manage debt. You can have a lot of debt as long as you're good at managing it. It's all good. You get a high credit score. Social credit score is the full on control. And who is the arbiter of truth? in this system? Who dictates what is and is not accepted? The government, the Ministry of Truth. Okay. Okay, next point. We're not supposed to talk about digital health passports. Does anybody know what that is? Does anybody remember the scanning of QR codes if you wanted to get your groceries or if you wanted to do anything? Yes. So this is a system to ensure absolute compliance with all health regulations and mandated medical procedures. Has this been codified into regulations yet? Of course. Please refer to the recent update of the international health regulations during the World Health Assembly in Geneva by the World Health Organization. They put this into what they call law, and 194 member nations are complying with it and are implementing it, which will mean if you get to use your digital money to travel to a foreign country by plane, which will be like Christmas and Easter and birthday all in one day, you will have to go through the digital health check, and it will be determined whether you need inoculations or other medical procedures done right there at the airport before you can take another step forward. This is what the digital health passports will ensure on all levels. So then, Depop. I don't want to write it out, but you can, use your imagination. The comprehensive strategy to depop and control the number of remaining people. This is already underway, full on underway. We all know they're using all means possible to do this. 15-minute cities, designated controlled dwelling areas for the remaining population. We saw this in the clip of Peggy Hall in the beginning, where she talked about Oxford in the UK that has already passed the ordinance or whatever they passed. Maybe they passed a directive to turn Oxford into a 15-minute city. So you will have your designated zone, your 15-minute zone, where you shop, you eat, you work, if you do work, where you have your doctor. So everything that you need will be provided within a 15-minute zone of your designated dwelling area, which you will not own. You will be able to rent it, and others will use it while you're not there. Remember, that's what their vision is. No more ownership. You own nothing, and you will be happy. The 15-minute cities are popping up everywhere. Here, you think we're in Tennessee. You think we're good here. You think this is a conservative state. No, no, no. There is no more difference between liberal and conservative when it comes to these things. Chattanooga is turning into a full-on 15-minute city. It's going to be one of the role models for the nation. You will need, not in the beginning, they'll make it incremental, but you will need a pass to go to the other zones of the city. It will be a celebration. Oh, you got a pass, I got a pass. How great. Let's meet at the park. This is happening all over the world. It's not United States, not just Canada, it's not just UK, everywhere. And you and I, we are not supposed to talk about this. We're supposed to get distracted by the show. One world government and one world religion, a uniform worldwide system of AI governance, the end of nation states, and the introduction of a one world religion. So this is the final nail in the coffin of sovereignty, or whatever resembles sovereignty today, is the literal introduction of a one world government and a one world religion. So where do I get this from? Well, as I said many times before, I've been reading the UN Agenda 2030, Agenda 21, Agenda 2000, and all the other documents by the United Nations. I've been reading the outlines and blueprints by the Rockefeller Foundation, by the World Economic Forum, what is coming out of Bilderberg, Committee of 300, Club of Rome, the Jesuits, you name it, they're all working for the same goal. It's 2024. And if your political candidate, I don't care who he or she is, is not talking about these things, is not asking you whether you want a social credit system, or whether you want a digital currency, or whether you want to live in a 15-minute city, or whether you want a digital health passport. If they're not talking about these things, they are bullshitting you. I don't care who they are, they're bullshitting you, because they know all their meetings behind closed doors with industry leaders, with big tech leaders, with insurance leaders, with health industrial complex leaders, with everybody, is about these things and about these things only. The social and cultural re-engineering is not about giving people more rights. It's about conditioning people to be ready for what we're talking about. This is what this is all about. The woke shit, the 79 genders bullshit, the end of genders, the complete end of genders, the end of natural procreation, all of that is only directed to socially re-engineer societies so they will comply with this. It was a conspiracy theory 20, 30 years ago that, we didn't have all the words, but we had the basic outline of what was going to happen, and people couldn't see it. Large sectors of the industry were still investing in other stuff. They were still running their old programs. So it was hard for people to see that. Now, that's all that is being talked about. Every corporation, every big company, anyone in this field, that's all they do. That's where the trillions are going. So that's something that we have to wrap our minds around. Knowing and seeing that the idea is to string us along with these secondhand issues or of secondary importance, so that these things can be implemented so strongly that by the time that the average person tries to or wants to see it, it's game over. It's already done. So I am using the energy of my birthday and the celebration of this to tell you this is the subject of our time. We can talk about meditation and prayer, how important that is, about what I say, the spiritual development, which is the foundation of this resistance, by the way. But we have to understand that if we do not become and embody the resistance, and yes, I don't care what any guru says, there are times in our story where we need to resist something, not just stand by and say, I'm not participating. That's not an option. There is no neutral ground here. You're either for it or against it. By being against it, you have to be for something else by default. You can't just say, I'm going to push just against this. No, you have to have a positive direction, knowing where you're going. But here's the thing, for 99% of humans, the seeing what the dystopian bullshit agenda is the only way for them to ask themselves, what is the alternative? Is there a future where we're not AI directed governance of AI? Is there a future where we're not in a full-on technocratic dystopia? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. But for that, we have to become fully self-reliant, fully self-responsible, and under no circumstances allow this to happen and become a part of it. But how can you not become a part of something that you're not aware is happening? You can't. You have to be aware. Without awareness, you don't have a choice. Your free will is inactive without awareness of a situation. These are all facts. Everything I put here are facts. This is what they're working on. If we can't get this in front of millions of eyeballs, all these subjects, all these shows, and if we are not continually talking about it, then the only alternative that you and I have, for those who don't want to participate, is to truly leave society and stick it out in the woods for as long as we can until they come for the woods, and they will come for the woods. And then we're not maybe millions of people bonding together any longer. Then it's every man, every woman, every family for themselves. And we are a mere years away from that. So this sounds horrible. This vision is horrible. The people who are pushing it are so lost in their paths that they think that is a solution for humanity. They're so disillusioned with humans. Thank you, Rob. Really appreciate it. Really, and thank you. They're so disillusioned with humans. They've been conditioned to believe that humans are a product of random biology, flawed, genetically flawed, that spirituality is nothing real, that the only God that will ever exist will be created or has been created by AI, and that humans need to be changed and controlled. They have had horrible experiences. They're probably, I would say, on an emotional spectrum that doesn't allow them to cope properly or is challenging for them. And these are the people that the spiritual dark force in the background is using. The Mark Zuckerbergs and the Elon Musks of our world that are the faces of such movements, right? And I could name a plethora more that all have similar characteristics, mannerisms, and behaviors. Because if you use people who have an inherent problem with human emotions, human existence, spirituality, that if you can get them and give them a solution that will allow them to overcome this for good, their social anxieties, their inadequacies, this is what that does. This is what this technology does. Thank you. Thank you, Spooky Spoon. Thank you. Sometimes I pray and I just give thanks to the Creator for giving me the words that will help people see better, clearer. Clarity. Clarity is what we need. It's like we're, it's like we're standing on the abyss or at the abyss, and we have so many guns pointing at us, and we just can't take our eyes off of the dangling carrot, the distraction right here. But we have to. The beautiful thing is, whenever I get to talk, thank you, Joan. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Whenever we get to talk to people that are usually not following these subjects, that are still maybe watching mainstream media or have just pulled away completely, and whenever we get to have a serious conversation and they listen and we talk like humans do, and when you ask them, okay, let's just pretend for a moment that what I just said is true and that a central bank digital currency is on the verge, is almost here, that a social credit system is coming, that 15-minute cities. Let's just assume that what I said is true. Do you want that? The overwhelming majority of people do not want that. So the problem is that most people do not know what they don't want because they haven't seen it yet. And we have to do our best to make them see it. And to demand, by the way, if you are participating in the political process, if you are, demand of the people who are pretending to represent you to tell you where they stand on. Where does your congressman, congresswoman stand on? Where does your senator stand on? Where does your wannabe president stand on? I'll tell you what. the last two presidencies, and let's just pretend they're real, both of them. The last two presidencies were Trump and the fake Biden, whatever. You know what their differences are in the AI development, in the support of the government for all these digital developments and full AI integration? Zero. Zero. There's zero difference. As I've said before, I do not care whether the AI is a globalist AI or whether it's a patriotic AI. You stick a flag on it, it's still the same shit. And there is no significant difference. So over the last weeks, on and off, I've been researching current leadership parties in other nations and opposition parties and quote unquote rebellion parties. I have yet to find one party who has made it their issue to truly inform the people about this development and to at least consider asking people for their opinion on this in a significant way. Not a single one. I'd be happy to hear from you if there is a movement, a political movement in your nation or that you know of that does that. I know of private organizations. I know of individuals that are beating the drum and have been, but I don't know of a political movement. So whether you are a conservative, a liberal, whether you're an independent, whether you're somewhere in the middle, whether you are a diehard Democrat or Republican, in your whatever the equivalent in your nation is, and as I said, Europe has usually way more parties. There are smaller nations that have 20 parties. It's quite incredible. It's like 10 people get together, it's a party. And that's not good or bad. I'm just saying the world is marching in one direction. And the apparent differences and the apparent struggles that we're seeing are maybe just about who is going to take leadership in this. Will it be a China-centric one world government? Will there be a rotational principle? We don't know yet, but that seems to be one of the real struggles, is who's going to lead this? I hear almost no one saying we don't want this. And another very important thing, I have yet to find a current political leader or aspiring leader who isn't either directly involved with the World Economic Forum or whose immediate family is in the World Economic Forum. Yeah, I know people think that Trump's fighting that. Who's a young global leader? Well, Ivanka is a young global leader. She's a World Economic Forum member. His whole cabinet was very much connected to that. I don't see a significant deviation from that. What I see is just a different flavor. It's the old Pepsi versus Coke. Yesterday, I looked a little deeper into the Project 2025, which is the transition project, the conservative transition project for the next president, which presumably is, they think it's going to be Trump. And I looked into, they authored an agenda that for the first 180 days of the next president, and they wanted to be better prepared and have it in place. And I looked at the authors of the Project 2025, most of them prominent figures in previous administrations under Reagan, under Bush Senior, and Bush Jr. So what rebellion? Thank you, Mike. What rebellion are we talking about? The old elite is the new elite. The old elite is the new elite. And then people talk about, the Roger Stones of this world, one of the big political campaigners for Trump. What Well, he was trying to be involved in every previous Republican campaign and administration. So these are the same figures, the same people, the same establishment that have repackaged themselves, that have found that millions and millions of people truly research and believe in conspiracy theories, and they have mobilized these people to follow them because they disguise themselves as one of us. I don't know that I have found many people within this alternative thinking space that didn't want to at one time believe in the Trump savior figure. And I get it. We all wanted to see, oh my God, maybe, just maybe, this is real. Maybe this is really happening. Of course who wants to give up hope on something like that? Nobody wants that. But it is 2024. And we're in the dire situation of what the world is in. But most problematically, no one is talking about, not the elephant in the room, my friends. No one is talking about the super hurricane that is hitting every place on earth at the same time. No one wants to talk about it. Not in the mainstream realm. Digital currencies, digital health, digital ID, social credit system, 15-minute cities, Depop, AI governance and world governance, and a one world religion. That's the full package, give or take. So I want to dedicate my birthday today to this subject and say that none of the other stuff matters if we don't know that this is happening, if we don't stop it from happening. And I mean stop. If we don't find a way to slam the brakes and say stop, we first have to talk about this. Because what you're talking about, dear World Economic Forum, dear stakeholders, dear United Nations members, and all the other cult members, what you're talking about is the end of us. It's the end of us. It's not the end of an era. It's not a new political system. It's not a new economic system. The Great Reset is the end of us. I don't know how else to put it. And if you think this doesn't concern you because you're in your 70s, no. This is coming. This is coming so fast. And it's here already in many ways. And I will end pretty much like I always end. An ignited human spirit. A human being who has said, not a minute longer am I giving away my power. Not a minute longer am I believing in other humans who pretend to be my saviors. Not a minute longer am I waiting for someone to come up with a solution. But me, myself, and I, here right now, I'm making the decision to do what I can with what I have where I am every single day. To become the best possible version of myself. To create the best possible life that I can. And to inspire through example everyone else around me to do that. Which includes, first and foremost, the seeking and speaking of truth. And helping others see the infinite potential that truth holds. The truth is we're infinite beings. The truth is we've been equipped with free will and a divine spark. We have the power to create and co-create in ways that we're not even aware of yet. And whatever we put our minds and hearts and spirits to, we can accomplish. This is the truth. We have a formidable enemy. They're very well organized and structured, and they've been at this for much longer than we think. So we don't just play catch up. We have to get ahead of the game. And the only thing that's capable of doing that is a fully activated, ignited human spirit. Nothing else can do that. But the human spirit can. It's that bright, amazing light that you are when you remember who you are. And everything that is faced with that either wants to become like it or crumbles in front of it. If you stand in your true power in front of the dark force crumbles because there's nothing for it to do. If you have fear, if you have doubt, if you have worry, they get in. But if you truly are, and I'm not talking here, I'm talking full on. If you truly are who you were designed to be, if you become that again, if you remember that again, then no weapon can be formed or used against you. Thank you, Annie. I really appreciate it. Thank you. But we can't bury our heads in the sand and pretend that it doesn't matter. That we've already won and there's nothing for us left to do. Here's the last thought. There is a species behind the scenes that will never get on our side. They'll just have to be exterminated from this place. That's the truth. They'll have to be exterminated from this place. They don't belong here. They're not like us. They don't like us. They can't be like us. They've hijacked this place. We'll get rid of them. The real and most important step will be to invite those who've been so deeply programmed into this agenda, to invite them in to see a different, a better path. And the only way to do that is to become that path. We can't show them something that's not here, but we can show them something that is here if we become that path. Thank you so much, Miss Catherine. I really appreciate it. Thank you. You see, we have to become that extraordinary being that we were designed to be. And then we can show them and say, listen, we didn't use AI. We didn't use CRISPR gene technology. We didn't need all of that. We already have it. And here's the kicker. You have it too. It's them that will be the greatest shift when we inspire them, the programmed beings that are pushing this agenda. The programmed beings that are pushing this agenda. It is possible. I've seen it. I've seen people come over from the dark side. And they become so powerful once they cross over. It's not even funny. It's amazing. All right, my friends. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your beautiful birthday wishes. Thank you for your love. Thank you for being here with us. I couldn't think of a better place to celebrate than here with you. Much love and many blessings. We'll be back with you again very, very soon. And right now, you could be only a few clicks away from experiencing something amazing, something that has changed thousands of lives all over the world. I'm talking about a high consciousness field similar to those at pilgrimage sites and sacred places. It's where people go to heal, to connect, and to become the best possible version of themselves. With FLFE, you can bring such a high consciousness field into your home right now. It's a spiritual quantum technology based on the work of Nikola Tesla. Better sleep, more energy, greater well-being, improved finances, electrosmog mitigation. These are only some of the things people on the FLFE service are experiencing. Try it now for 15 days completely free of charge, no credit card needed. Just click on a link down below to start your free, no strings attached FLFE trial right now.